Hey, good morning everyone, Tractorman 44 here. Hey, you can tell by the empty space behind me that the Galloway is not inside. I had to put the Galloway outside so that I get ready for butchering. We went ahead and butchered beef this weekend, and now here it is, a very nice Tuesday morning, 10 degrees outside, and I'm getting ready to move that Galloway back inside. However, if you're like me, you've had to lift some really precarious things, on job sites and stuff. So you kind of have to fiddle with rigging and everything sometimes. You have to get a little creative on occasion. Well, this thing is so odd and such a very cumbersome thing to try to load with chokers or to move with chokers and stuff. But I decided right now is an optimum time because it's going to have to be moved a number of times before we ever get it running. There's just no doubt about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little frame that attaches to that wooden base that'll give me 4 lifting points that will compensate somewhat for its inability to be chokered very, very nicely. I just went over to the scrap pile and drug out a couple of pieces of channel iron, so I'm going to make a few cuts and add a few things to it, and we'll see what we come up with. We'll be using the old Champion blower and forge drill press. Let's go back to the table. This is going to rest up underneath the piece of wood that the Galloway is mounted to. This is a little indention or additional piece of wood that actually goes down, so we have to have that spacer. This is the outside edge of that, so this is going to be right here welded in place. There'll be a lag bolt, a large diameter lag bolt that goes into the framework to hold this securely to the base of the Galloway. But because the Galloway is so heavy, I don't want to rely on just the welds on the 2 outside edges, so I'm going to fill this full and get a pretty good weld right here in the dead center too. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing over here on the other piece that's over here, and then we'll weld those in places, and then we'll go about the business of making the second one. Spaces for number 2. You'll be able to see whenever we go to install it. These provide nothing structural. They're just allowing the weight of the engine to rest on this while the block shape comes all the way down and rests on this. Then there'll be lifting eyes out here at the outside edges to pick them up. Now guys, this is a prime example of why I bring scrap structural steel home from job sites. Okay guys, this is what we got. This will be the front of the engine right here, slightly different than the rear of the engine. These here will be the 4 that actually bolt or lag bolt into that wooden framework. And then out here we'll have lifting eyes or a way to hook onto this conveniently. And then with this being physically attached, we won't have to worry about it shifting or maybe turning or slipping out of what it is we're picking it up with. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit of an idea of what I got planned on it. I just didn't want to take a chance to turn it over and drop and breaking the flywheels or something like that. Odd loads, oddly balanced loads, or loads like this that are exceptionally heavy and unbalanced, kind of bother me a little bit, you know what I mean? This way I don't want to take away that little bit of concern, Well guys, you can tell by looking at the table, I kind of made a mess of things, we got done butchering here a couple days ago, so I went ahead about the business, get ready to move the Galloway in. Decided to make that thing that you just saw me welding on here just a few minutes ago, and I've got it assembled. And so what I've been doing, I've been out here wallowing around in the snow, bolting that thing onto that Galloway, so we're getting ready to go out there right now and go ahead and move it in here. So I do want to report that it is working fairly well. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do, and that's to have a controlled lift and a controlled balance of that uneven and unbalanced machine. I mean, this is a small engine, but it's still pretty doggone heavy. And you know what would happen to those flywheels if something was to slip and trip out of my chokers, hit the ground. We'd bust a hopper, off the top of the cylinder. We'd break the flywheel right off the spokes or something like that. That impact is just horrible. That's what I'm minimizing. So, yeah, is it a little bit overkill? Yeah, it probably is. But you know what? That's all scrap stuff out of the scrap iron. Never spent a penny on it except a little bit of electric to run the MIG. So hey, we're going to go out there and raise that thing up and bring it in and set it back on the horses. feel free to come along if you got a few minutes. Now what I was trying to do is keep all that old original oak wooden base, intact. So I had to lag bolt right into it, and that created a little bit of a problem because that's 116-year-old wood, you know what I mean? So that actually turned out fairly well. This one here I had to get a little more creative with because some of the boards across the bottom was actually flinching out whenever I would drill a pilot hole and then run those small lag bolts into it. So had to get a little more creative on that. But that's okay. It seemed to work out okay. And I went ahead and put 4 lifting eyes on the outside edges of the 2 channel iron pieces, for lifting on. And so yeah, it looks like it's going to lift nice and securely. So let's go ahead. And as you can see, the remnants of snow, we had about 4 inches. That's it, just as slick as can be. I'm kind of happy with that. I got it turned around 180 degrees this time because I thought I was going to have to give a lot of attention to this area right here, so I'd be on this side of the shed. All right, we're going to slip the chains off. Just undo the shackles, that's easier. There that goes. Dang, it's cold out there, guys. Yeah, I know it definitely looks a little weird, a little bit of an overkill. But like I said, it didn't cost me anything, just scrap iron. And it really works out great. Just hook your shackles right onto your lifting eyes right there on the 4 corners. And it lifts up just nice and perfectly level as can be. Like I said, a little weird what I had to do on the front end here. But I wanted a little bit of added security with this heavy end. And there's a large, like a 4x6 right there. So I went ahead and just happened to have a piece of scrap laying right there. Didn't even do anything to it except cut a little bit off of one side, and it fit right into that opening, drilled a hole all the way through that block, and then sandwiched it all on there with that 3/8 all thread. So that gave me some added insurance because, like I say over here on the end, if you take a look, I have holes right here, but I don't have any lags in them. That's because whenever I screwed one in, it went ahead and split this old timber right here just that quick, and it did the same thing on the other end. So I thought, man, I'm in trouble here, especially if I want to save that old wood. Now, chances are I don't need to. I can make my own pieces and everything, but thought, what the heck, may as well keep the old stuff as long as we can. So here we are inside again. So that's a good thing. Butchering's all done, got the shed back into a mess, and time to go back to work on this guy here. I just got this head fingered back on there, just finger tight. I'm going to pull that off. We're going to start with the investigations right there, and then we'll go back to business of whatever we need to do to figure out what the next step is going to be. So, hey, thanks for hanging around there today. This was kind of a neat little thing to do as far as making them little lifting brackets or whatever you want to call them are concerned. Now those won't stay on. I'll just take them off, eventually and set them off to the side. Never know, I'll use it for something else, no doubt about it. But hey, that's all there is to this one here, guys. And this TrackMan 44, and I'm out of here.